before we sorry.
Hello, you able to take a
Sorry, before we start, we are filming. We've got a tape there and a tape there, so if anyone doesn't want to be filmed, please feel free to. Item 2 on the agenda, apologies for absence. Okay, item 3, declaration of interest. Members are reminded that the Code of Conduct, which took effect on the 7th of August 12, provides that they should declare. There's a book in the members' table. If you have any conflicts of interest you wish to declare, please speak now and then. Is there anyone that wishes to make an entry in the book or to? Okay, public forum. Item 4. Residents are invited to give their views and ask questions of the parish on issues on this agenda and raise issues for future consideration and discretion of the chair. If we can try and keep it to 3 minutes, which is the general rule, and I think some people are experienced in coming to these meetings and sticking to that, so thank you very much. It would be appreciated if you didn't raise issues that are already covered. If you want to emphasise a point, you can do it quickly, and we're interested in capturing points from the agenda. Now, I believe there's Mrs. Simmons. Is there Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Simon, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry. Lovely the last.
I think because you've got a planning issue.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I invite you to speak first, if that's okay with everybody else?
Yes. I live in the high street behind the chip shop. There's a new hairdresser shop, butchers, Cantonese, so that gives you all a view of where I actually live. The hairdressers have recently put up 2 freestanding air conditioning units, which are to all of the residents, and we have objected recently a real big eyesore. Covered it in a cage now, which makes it look even worse. And I have included some pictures in my package from inside my house in my front room. So we've got the eyesore there. Also, the concern is when these air conditioning units are on, it will mean that I won't be able to have my windows up open because of the chemicals that are going to be coming out, which is a concern. I will take anybody that can dispute that and say, give me facts that won't happen. That's fine, I'll understand that. But we're just not happy about the fact that it's there as a freestanding unit. It would be better if it was pushed back to the back of the long garage part, and we would all accept that. Okay.
That's on the planning agenda later. Okay, we've got 4 speakers or 5?
5 speakers.
5 speakers. So, I'll let you organise it yourself too much to speak.
Colin responsible first, if I may.
Yep, carry on.
Formalities, name, address first.
Just your name, we've got your address.
Right, okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I would like to have picked up on the items that I highlighted at the last meeting, but as yet I've not been given access to the information requested. So that will have to be put on hold for a while. But I would like to talk about a couple of other things, if I may. And I'll refer back to the minutes of a meeting of this council held on 2nd of April 2013. Item 5, Section B, and I quote from those minutes: residents would be upset if no consultation is carried out. And we're referring obviously to the cemetery.
Okay.
As you as a council have seen fit to bring in the new rules, I would ask 3 questions with that quote in mind. Who was invited to the consultation? Where was the consultation meeting held? And how many residents attended? Mr. Chairman, I understand Madam Clerk records all the information, so I'm sure that information is held somewhere.
Yeah, we'll give you a written response.
Thank you. The next item I'd like to talk about is the press release. My respected team member here and I attended this office on Thursday of last week. Madam Clerk was asked who did the press release, and we were told it was the whole council. Referring to the press release anyway, I have a question of When is a flag not a flag? If it's okay on a coffin in the church and to come out of church, are we saying that when it gets to the cemetery gates, it has to be immediately removed? Don't forget, under your new rules, flags are banned. Also in the press release, poppy wreaths were referred to. Well, this is wholly inaccurate. Wooden crosses, however, were mentioned, as they would have to be affixed by spiking them into the ground. I refer to these. We didn't mention wreaths, we mentioned these as they are hammered into the ground. But again, under your new rules, they are banned. Mr. Chairman and members of the council, we as residents take this matter very seriously indeed. So I would ask you in future to ensure that any information released to the press is accurate in all aspects and has no political spin on it whatsoever. Furthermore, in the minutes it's mentioned about costs of a meeting of the parish. Well, this council has it within its powers to eradicate any cost whatsoever by abolishing the new rules that were introduced and starting with a blank page and properly consulting the residents so that the majority of the residents' opinion can be taken into account. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good answer.
Yeah, I would just like to say, if I can, just like to update you on the numbers we've got. That there are now 432 members in the Studley Residents Against the New Graveyard Rules Facebook group, and I in my possession hold 957 signatures on the petition against those rules, and there are more petitions still out there to be brought in. So with that in mind, with those numbers in mind, I would just like to ask the council to please revisit the vote on the rules.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Will you be presenting that sometime to council?
Yes.
Sometime soon?
Not too long.
Quick update.
Yeah.
So,
Good evening, councillors. Good evening, chairman. Once again, I'm not going to go over anything I spoke on last week. I'd like to speak on a point which I'll address the chairman, because most of it is then coming from you. We have a chap on our team who's a valued member of this village, and his family goes back 100 years or more. And a while ago, if anybody was laying a hedge, everybody went to Steve Ross for your heatherings and your stakes. If your cattle got out, you went and got rails and stakes from the Rosses. And the Rosses have been members of this village and area for 100 years or more. I'm not going to mention the man's name. I will pass that to you so you can pass it round to the councillors. This man is a neighbour of his, close to where he lives, and you've been giving him regular permission to speak at your meetings. Quite all right, because it's nice. It's nice that people do come along and want to speak to the parish council. But even in your minutes, this man's name has been quite regular, and by not allowing this man to speak, in my view, is not right. And Mr. Chairman, you have the rights of discretion as a chairman, but don't let the discretion become discrimination for any reason. And I would like you, if this man wants to speak again, to say yes, he's a valued member, and his family go back in this village for over 100 years. He has 2 graves in our burial ground. So, in breeding, he's entitled to speak on village matters which we consider important. And once again, we come down to cost. Mr. Beeman, when he retired the chairmanship, he said that problems in the burial ground would increase parish rates massively. We understand there's a problem of costs, so please, let's get the cost reduced. If you'll go back and have another vote, and we can get everything brought back to a blank canvas, you will save hundreds and hundreds of pounds, because this is the figure banded. It's not put out from our side, it's put out by the Parish Council, and we would ask you, all as councillors, to have a vote, to return back to where we was, and then we can save all this money and try and get back going as we should be. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I will consider your points.
Good evening, Councillor Ingram and all the parish councillors. I'd like to ask one question regarding the cemetery rules and also make a personal statement, please. My question is that at the time of the Parish Council voting unanimously for the amendments to the cemetery rules in August 2014, did any of you have a personal interest in the village cemetery? In other words, do you have a close relative buried there? And do you visit to tend a loved one's grave? If not, I feel that it may be difficult when voting for you to understand the feelings of the villagers who have loved ones in the cemetery. If you did have close family in the cemetery, I believe that you might be more compassionate and understanding in your decision on this matter. When you reconsider the amendments to rules, would you please bear in mind the following thoughts, which may help you understand the feelings of the bereaved. The gravesite can be a place where you can go to be with your loved one and express your sadness. There are many ways to publicly acknowledge a person's existence. Mementos help you to cope, and they affirm the existence of your loved one. They let you experience a gradual goodbye, and they help you remember this time and feel close to your loved one as you grieve. In the end, it doesn't really matter what is left on the grave after visiting, as long as it expresses how you remember this person. That's what matters the most, be it traditional flowers, flags, scarves, or even candles, which are commonly used to light the soul's way. That is how you remember that person, and that is what is important. Incidentally, Birmingham City Council quoted in 2014, it is understandable people want to remember their loved ones by items they place on their graves. This is at Whitman Cemetery in Birmingham. My statement now is that it was always a quiet, peaceful village, and after the loss of a loved one, it was possible to go to the cemetery and grieve as well as taking mementos for our loved ones. There were no harsh rules, no mistakes being made, and this turmoil and what appears to be a lack of compassion towards bereaved families seems to be coincidental with the retirement of the previous parish clerk some 2 years ago. And we, as a family, have had first-hand experience of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, yeah, that was good. I think what I would say to you is that the council is committed to actually resolving this. I don't think half of those actually big. Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on public forum? Mr. Okay, Mr. Taylor.
Thanks, councillors. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the majority of Studley residents. I say majority, as it was pointed out at the last council meeting, that there is at least one person in the village that does not support our views, and we respect that. I'd like to thank my fellow colleagues for their contributions this evening, and rather than going over all the same items, I'd like to bring to the council's attention a slightly different look at the way our graveyard is sometimes left. I have a few photographs that I'd like just to pass to you guys. I've done two sets of them again inside the table. As you can see, these photographs show a number of gravestones or monuments and the condition that they've been left in. I was wondering what the council thought of these and if this is the kind of look that they are trying to achieve. Instead of having the flags and the wheels or other items that have been lovingly placed on the grave of the people that we love. I would like to point out that this is the council's responsibility for the way these gravestones have been left. It may not have been any one of you as individuals, but as a group of council members, it is yourselves that employed the groundsmen that did this. The cemetery may not be the biggest in the county, or even in neighbouring counties, but I do feel that it's big enough to be able to find a corner where it's able to dispose of the grass cuttings in a more favourable way. You might even find it useful to use the skip that you yourselves pay for and to help keep the cemetery clean and tidy. Whilst on the subject of the cemetery being kept clean and tidy, the placing of all these so-called offending items have been put there by loved ones, caring relatives that have been left behind to grieve. This is their way of staying connected with the loved ones. These people tend to go to the cemetery once or twice a week, sometimes even more often. Other relatives also leave precious items on their loved ones' graves, but may not be able to visit every week, but once a fortnight, because they know living to live within the parish boundary. But their graves are still kept clean and tidy. It seems that the council are trying to punish these people for caring and looking after their loved ones' graves. If the council are trying to maintain a high standard for the cemetery, then shouldn't they be looking for the people that do not tend to their loved ones' graves, but just leave them to fall into a sorry state? I would like to say that all this publicity has had some good effect, as it has been noticed over recent weeks that there are some graves that have been tidied up, that haven't been looked after for a long time. So some good has come out of this debate at this point. It seems to me when this issue is resolved and we all go away happy, that the reason it came to head in the first place is that when the council passed these new rules, they were thought they were doing what the residents wanted. Well, we can clearly see by the turnout tonight and the previous evenings that it just clearly isn't that way. And just by reverting the rules would make it all go away. I would like to suggest that the council that they should look at the way they inform the residents of any decision they think need input from the people of Studley, as the present system clearly isn't working to the benefit of the council or the residents. The majority of people also feel, just because they've moved outside the parish boundaries for whatever reason, if they have loved ones buried in our cemetery, they should be entitled to have a say on this particular issue. I would like it also noted that when we were first invited into the council meeting, I made a verbal request to see risk assessment, safe systems of work, SOPs, that were produced with regards to the cemetery. That should be made available. I left my name and address. I was not asked to put it in writing at all, but I've never heard back from the council anyway. I would really appreciate knowing the views of this. And finally,
I just answer that. I think that is work in progress.
I believe Colin was made a formal written request, but when I first requested it, I wasn't asked to do it in writing, it was accepted on verbal, but I still haven't heard anything.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah?
Sure. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Finally, it's been noted that, we're almost finally, notice that one of the councillors recently resigned from their post. It was not, nor is it the intention for any councillors to resign. We just ask that as you represent the people of the parish of Studley, that when they stand up and speak as one voice, that the council listens to them and are guided by what the people say and want. I'd like to thank Councillor Eric Holder for the support that he's given us independently, and I would just like to thank you all for the time and allowing me to speak on behalf of the majority.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Really good point. Very helpful. Right, I think that finalises the topic.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, am I able to read something out, please?
So, are you registered to speak?
No.
Can I ask you not to on this occasion? If you want to register for next week, it's fine. For the next meeting, it's fine. Or send a Item 5.
Mr. Chairman, I believe there's a lot of people outside want to listen to the village plan. Would it be helpful if we swapped over? You've listened to us quite well.
If you'd like to, but
Some of us would like to stay and listen to the village plan, but you've listened to us, and I believe it's only fair to let somebody else.
I think I agree. So it's not musical chairs. Do you want to take a couple of minutes now just to...
Would you think that would be fair?
I do.
It's fair if they want to come. Yes, thank you.
Every time.
A sweet constable. I'm okay, thank you. So you're there in case I'm the poison you.
Ray, can I have your ticket? Sorry? No, because you're staying in, aren't you? Or do you want, because they, or do you want to come back? Okay, fine. Yeah. Are you going to come in?
No, I'm going to go because I've got to go. I'm going to wait.
Right. Your ticket. Yeah. Okay. You coming back?
I'll take my own
Okay, mate. Right. You back next week?
back in.
I'm off all next week, so.
Alright.
You see Gary? Gary's got my number.
Okay.
Give me a ring.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'll fill you in properly. And, like you say, both sides. All right, mate. And I'll speak.
Put him on my file.
Yeah.
We make that. Thank you.
Used to, they were told it's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, moving on. Linda, is that everyone that wants to come in is in now?
Yeah. Right, hang on. Hang on. You need this.
Room for two more, I think.
Do you want to come in? Go on then.
Okay, is everyone set? Okay, agenda item number 5, pass the minutes for the last meeting, 16th of September and 7th of October. So, 16th of September. Just give you a couple of seconds to find them. Page 43.
Yeah, I have something on page 43.
Okay.
Can I, under public forum number 1 there, the first line, Mr Jarman asked the council what was happening with the open space. He may have referred to it as the open space, but actually he was referring to the nature reserve. And I think we should distinguish it from other open spaces by changing it to nature reserve.
It's actually called public open space
On the plans, it's just one of the designated public open spaces, but I was wondering if we should distinguish it, because that is the area he was referring to.
Put it in brackets.
Okay, yeah. That's all.
Page 44. 45. Page 46. Okay, 7th of October. I'll do these then, we'll vote on accepting both. Thank you. Page 47, since the 7th of October. Page 48.
Make a comment on minute 1
So what did you say?
In support of the residents for the Learning Committee. They have said that there are meaningful residents support the
Is that what you want to say? Does everyone agree with that? Is that their representation?
Oh, that you expressed your support for the residents against the burial rules?
Yeah. And if it hadn't been for the residents voting for us, we wouldn't be here.
I don't remember that part, but I do remember you expressing your support.
One at a time, please.
Chair, the minutes are not an accurate record of every conversation that takes place. It is a tracing of the decisions taken, the reasons for those decisions being taken. It does not record everything that is said in every minute. So
I appreciate
I don't see any benefit in recording that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. If Derek wants to cover something which you said, I think we should be able to do something.
I agree with that, yeah. I agree with that.
Okay, yeah, just page 48 is agreed. Page 49. Page 50. Okay, can we have a proposer? Councillor Venus, seconder, Councillor vote on accepting the abstaining. Because of one of them.
So the first one, 2 abstentions.
2 abstentions on the first one, unanimous on the rest. Thank you. So item number 6, matters arising, Susan Arnold, is that still the case? Item number 7, items for discussion. Parish plan, Councillor B. Oh, sorry, I want to change this one for the convenience of Mrs. Simon. Can we skip to the first item number 8, first planning application?
Mr. D. Hartle, 37 High Street, Studley. Proposed retrospective commission for the erection of 2 air conditioning units and associated screening. This is for reconsideration by the Parish Council following on last meeting.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we had a sizable petition from residents after our last meeting, which said they quite clearly their reasons for objecting, all of which were valid reasons. I spoke to a planning department and the assurance that they would allow these comments to be considered and that we would bring this back to council for council to reconsider. And they've also told me that the officer has the conservation officer because some of the buildings aren't going to be listed at the back of there, and so therefore this has an impact on those buildings, and the officers are minded at present to refuse this particular one. So I think it's something the parish council needs to revisit and actually raise their objections, because that will have weight to the officers. So I think the residents are quite right to bring this to us. It's unfortunately just before our meeting, but I'm quite happy that we change our support to object because of the impact on neighbouring properties.
Any other comments?
Can we do that at this stage as the date has passed? Okay, let's just agree with that.
I just speak later?
Yes, yes.
Could I just suggest it's really an amenities question? It becomes an amenities objection in terms of the Save Local plan. You know, for the official reasons.
Okay, thank you. So is there any more discussion on this? So everyone ready to vote? Yes, you're making a proposal.
Propose we object to this, Chair, the impact on the nearby residents' amenities and the impact on the nearby listed buildings.
Second. Sandra. Councillor Ray. That's unanimous. If you want to leave, feel free.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Moving back on to item 7. Parish plan, councillor B.
Thank you, Chairman. No great deal, unfortunately, on this one. I was hoping that at this stage we would have the first draft of the Parish Council, but unfortunately, because of the additional work that's been put on councillors and the plans, we have not managed to progress this any further. So I thought this will go back to the Parish Plan Committee once the current workload has eased, and until that time I don't see any justification in continuing because we just do not have the resources to continue this. It is an important document, it's one that we need to get done as soon as possible, but the way things are is that we just do not have the resources to continue the process forwards. So in that case, I think we put this in abeyance until we get the other matters sorted.
Okay, thank you. My understanding of that is that I don't think it's actually critical prioritisation. I think that there are other matters that the council can address, such as the British Council Plan 4, ways that we can contribute to agree. And so, 30th, trying to look at ways in which we can collectively consider. Thank you very much. Anyone else like to comment on this? Sorry, that's a bit disappointing for everyone who came to hear that. Is there anyone that...
I think Justin's got
Could Councillor Pym give it sort of a little update? Did we go ahead so they know where we are?
Yeah, I think that would be fair. That would be fair to set the stage we're at, which is not that far off.
Certainly, Chair. Well, we've had our 2 consultations. We had a public meeting where we actually met with residents, and we have considered the residents' views, and those have actually been put into that parish plan. We are now working through and actually putting it into a document that we can actually then look to. We will then go to consultation with the residents before being presented to the district council for publication and acceptance by the council. I am probably 3 parts of the way through it. It's the last sort of 20-30 pages that once our workload has eased and the clerk then has some time to spend with me as well, that will then be completed and everybody will be able to see it and approve it.
Right, thank you very much. No more comments on that. Item 2, electoral review of Warwickshire County Council draft recommendations. Councillor Ricketts.
Just come with a map. I'll try to be brief because I know people have a lot of things on their minds. It's just that just as with the district council being reduced in number, so the county council is also being reduced in number. Not so drastically as districts. Counties being reduced from a total of 62 councillors at present to 57, so only -5, and that will apply in the 2017 county elections. Remember, they come along every 4 years. So the boundary commissioners, operate obviously all over the country, have looked at Warwickshire and looked at the average electorate, or rather the actual electorates for each division, which Studley's one. And they've quite rightly pointed out that Studley division was kind of well under the average. And so, quite simply, it's had to be expanded to increase the electorate. All the political parties, and indeed anybody, was invited to submit ideas, and the county council itself eventually voted on proposals for each of the 5 districts in Warwickshire. The boundary commissioners eventually have come up with this, and it's out to consultation at the moment, and the final decision will be by mid-November. So I don't know if you can see it, but this is the sort of central part of Studley here. Stand back a bit further. The central part of Studley there, and as has already been reported to you, for district purposes, we're going to have 2 district wards where once there were 4, so 3 councillors for Studley, 1 for Sanborn. The Sanborn donut, if I can call it that, which went all around Studley itself, was abolished at district level, and then we then got Studley with Sanborn, which is like the part of Studley within the triangle, if I can call it that, here, plus Sanborn, and that's 1 district ward. And then we've got Studley with Mappleborough Green, which also includes Old Barrow, Morton, Bagot, Spurnell, those kind of places. Quite a big geographical area. Now, the county division is going to be simply those 2 wards, yeah, plus Coton here, which has for a long, long time been in the Studley County Division anyway, but is now in a quite separate district ward, which has been entitled Kinnerton. And so the Studley Division will now have added on, besides Coton, which has already been there, Great All Parish Council area, including part of what I understand as Kinnerton. And then the whole of the Aston Cantlow Parish Council, which is like the village or hamlet of Aston Cantlow, plus places like Shellfield, Little All. So that expands the Studley County Division to that area. In other words, it adds on Great All and Aston Cantlow Parish Council areas to the existing county division. It's still just a little bit under in terms of its electorate, but that'll probably be dealt with by some housing developments which are scheduled around the Great All area. So in the future it will kind of catch up in terms of its population. Okay, keep it to that.
Can I just ask you, weren't there parts of those areas part of Ulster? Is Ulster being split there?
That's right, yeah. Ulster is actually,
in the county.
well, for district purposes, there's an Ulster town, you know, the town itself. There's an Ulster and rural, which rambles all over the place. Takes in even Temple Grafton, near Stratford. And then Kinnerton's in a way kind of split, because the Kinnerton Parish Council area, just to the east side of Ulster, plus Hazelmore, that will still be in Ulster Division for the county. The boundary commissions try as far as possible to keep district wards within the same county divisions, but you just can't do it perfectly because of the population electorate inequalities. So in the end they've kind of split up what we would understand was the old Ulster. Part of this, I've just said, like Great All, now comes into Surrey.
What's the net effect?
Well, I don't think it's my place to, if you mean party political, I don't think we should mention that in this.
You mean the electorate?
Yeah, because it's been reduced by 5 for the whole of Warwickshire, which isn't drastic, but that ups the average electorate, obviously, and Studley was well under anyway. We'll still, as I say, be slightly under on the present electorate statistics, but I think it will catch up.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Do council want to make any comments on the consultation about that?
comments from council?
I think we've discussed it quite a bit in the past, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah. I don't think if there aren't any, let's move on. Item 3, something about street naming and numbering, development of Bell Lane, Studley.
When there's a new development, Stratford was consult Parish Council about the naming of the new development, new street. They've enclosed for our information a copy of the site plan. It's the development of Bell Lane, Studley. As you can see from the plan, one new street name is required. The developer has put forward the name Bell Court to represent the former use of the site. Whilst accepting the reason for this, we would urge you to consider the amount of Bell street names already in the vicinity and maybe consider something else.
What was the name of the cinema? Cozy Corner. Cozy Corner. That Cozy Corner place is a bit 3 and 3 seas, isn't it?
Okay, is this something that people want to go away and consider, or is this something we want to discuss now?
Is there a date for submission?
No, they just want it done as soon as possible, so if you wanted to delay till next meeting and think about it.
We see one name.
Yeah, I mean, okay. One street. One close. Okay, so I think I suggest we go away and think about that.
Yeah, could we have it on the agenda next week to just vote on it? That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, item 4, Dunstan allotments matters.
Mr. Chairman, this concerning the safety matter of the allotments. As you come out of the main gate onto the Reddish Road, on your left, you've got a blind spot there. We've just been given one of these concrete mirrors that can put across the road and a lamppost there as well. And what we want to is the Parish Council agreed for that to be put onto the Parish Council lamppost opposite, so that when vehicles come out they can actually see what's coming. Because there have been a few witnesses.
So we have to agree, if we do it today, we have to agree in principle pending any regulations that might come from council. Okay, does anyone want anything to discuss? Yeah, like a sensible safety.
People that constantly necessarily can help them as well.
Right, so they've been spoken to. Okay, that sounds like a sensible suggestion. So are you proposing that? You have a second? Okay, Councillor Beeman, we have council vote on that. Is there support that in principle pending any reasons why we can't do that with regard to county roads? Item 5, parish meeting. This was the meeting that was called by members of the group last meeting. Okay, this is questions. I put a few ideas down and I think we need to discuss. So the first point I've raised is does Parish Council want chairman chair the parish meeting if it's held? And I have an opinion on this, but I'm going to put it open to council. I have some concerns about having voting rights on a meeting where the remainder of this council is not present. And therefore I don't think I could be representative of the council on that particular meeting. I personally think it needs an independent chair. So that's my position. You have a position? Good vice chair and chair, good chair.
I think in terms of democracy, I would suggest that the chair does not Parish Council chair does not sit in the interest of democracy. There's a lot of messages out there.
I think my position is I want to be helpful, but I don't want to sort of skew the position of council, so I can't speak for every member of this council. I think that's the position. Eric.
Yeah, one of the guidance of the Parish Council, clerks and others, Section 9 of the Local Government Act 1972 states that every parish there shall be a meeting, purpose discussion of parish affairs. Section 13 of the Act states that the parish meeting of the parish shall consist of the local government electors and the parishes. As for chairman meeting, it says that the chairman of the parish council is entitled to attend, and if he is present, he shall preside over the meeting. So that was in the Act.
Yeah, so, I don't know whether I can set the agenda, but I don't think it's appropriate if I did, because I'm pretty agnostic on this issue. I want to resolve this. But I think because I would probably be asked questions regarding council's position, and council's position is considerate and divided on some areas. So for those reasons, that's what I think council would make.
Mr. Chairman, it does say entitled to be there, but he doesn't have to.
Yes, that's right.
So which of the choices you want?
Well, I'm going to put it to council.
I would propose. In fact, I would propose there's no council chairs.
Got a proposer? Councillor Rowan. Adrian seconding. Let the council vote on this, please, and I will abide by council vote. I will abstain from this vote.
So that means an alternative chair would have to be found.
Yeah. Hopefully someone independent can put your argument across in a fair, balanced way. Okay, the rules of funding parish meeting. I don't think we need to do that. Sorry, are you aware of it? Sorry, speak to Karen. Are you aware of the rules?
Aware of the rules on what, sorry?
With regarding funding the parish meeting?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, well if you want a copy